Hello all, welcome to another sunny, lovely, rainy winter's day. Today we're here with the Clio 182 once again. Somebody posted a question, or a statement rather, on one of the YouTube videos that said, make sure you check the health of the engine before you rip it all out and put the whole thing together and change all the belts, do all the maintenance, etc. Just to ensure that you haven't got a engine that is a bit on the worn out side, because he said anecdotally he's had two. One is a 140,000 mile high miler, very similar to ours. One was a 70,000 mile one. He said the 140k one always felt a bit down on power, etc. Something I've never thought about. An old Mercedes engine that's done 140k wouldn't be worn out with regards to low compression or anything like that, but obviously a highly strung, relatively 2-litre engine that makes close to 200 horsepower, maybe so. Also, potentially something to consider is a Renault. The value would have dropped considerably over time, whereas a Mercedes' value would have been higher, so the owner at the time probably would have been more likely to keep up with maintenance, things like oil changes and higher quality oil. Excuse my shutter, it's quite windy. So what we're going to do just before we dismantle the whole thing is I've warmed it up, which is why the shutter is open so I don't die of carbon monoxide poisoning, although it's coming down now nicely. We've warmed it up. I'm going to pull the inlet manifold off because it seems like that's the only way to get access to the spark plugs. And we're going to do a compression test on a warm engine with the battery charger connected, and we'll take it from there. Look, if I show you what's going on there. So you're going to have a nice view. You've got a bit of a tripod going on here. We've got a battery charger connected over here because obviously the alternator doesn't work, so the battery is a bit on the flat side. We will pop this off and then come follow me later. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take this inlet manifold off first. It does look like we need to take the throttle body off. So we're going to pop that off. Sorry, we're going to take that clamp off, take all the things off that we need to take off, and see if we can get access to these spark plugs. I'm just going to pop this off here. What I'm going to do is sort of just shove it out the way without removing too much. So it looks like we've got a few bolts here, 10 mils, a vac line here, which I'm just going to pull off, which is good. There's another, looks like a breather at the back here. It should just pop off. There we go. Tuck that out of the way. We've got a coil pack, which I'm going to unplug. And I have a small connector down here. There we go. Okay, right, I'm just going to pop and get it too. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this off on both sides and just remove this hose entirely. It gives us a bit more space, also means I probably don't need to remove the airbox, I would have thought. This pipe appears to be held on with a zip tie, so oh, what a surprise, came off nice and easily. I did take the oil filler cap off whilst the engine was warming up over here, and I did also remove the dipstick whilst the engine was warming up, and there wasn't a lot of blow-by coming up through there, so I think that bodes well, fairly well, although looking in there there's quite a lot of oil. But let's give that benefit of the doubt because it hasn't been run properly. So close. We've got two 10 mils back here by the looks of it. Whip this one out. And oh, that one does not appear to be part of the mechanism. So, right, that was fairly straightforward. I've still got the coils connected, and obviously we've got the throttle body, so I'm going to unplug the electrical connector from the throttle body. There we go, hear the click. Right, that's off. What I'm going to do is... They look like they've been on there a while. Let's just see before I take them all off to make sure they're numbered. They are, right, so we can take them off. Right, one inlet manifold removed. Seems very straightforward. Make sure we place it somewhere safe. Before we get damaged. I will note that there is a gasket that seems to block off the bottom of the inlet manifold. Doesn't seem to go anywhere. It's interesting. And we've obviously got a multi-layer steel gasket here, so we'll need to replace that. Usually you would do the compression test with the throttle wide open. We're not going to have a problem with that in this case because we have no throttle body, so it's basically wide open anyway. That's my phone ringing, so bear with me. Right, so I've got you on head view now. What we're going to do is we're going to pop out some spark plugs. And I have no idea what size we're going to need, so it's looking like 16mm. Yay! Right, let's get an extension, shall we? I recently rearranged all my drawers and I can't find anything. Right, so let's crack them off by hand. Okay. One thing to check when you're taking spark plugs out is how they look. So this one looks super rich, really rich. See how it's all sooty. Now the car's been driven to and from the workshop, to and from the body shop, into and out the car park. This is the first time it's probably actually gotten warm in the past 6 months, so I'm not too concerned about that. Let's just pop the other ones out. That one seems okay. Now, something to note, these two plugs are full of oil, so I need to see how they seal against the head. Also down here, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, it's full of oil as well, so obviously the rocker cover gasket is leaking. On the plus side, oh, that's really oily. Now I'm not too alarmed about that because it looks like oil from the rocker, and I can actually see the top of the piston in there. Right, let's, I'm not going to put that in with the other tools because it's going to get everything oily and we don't want that. Right, next step is to obtain the compression tester. We're going to start from cylinder number on a Mercedes engine. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not 100% sure whether that's the same as a Renault engine. Like flywheel side is number 1. Actually, scratch that, make me look like a moron. On a Mercedes, on a 4-cylinder, when it's longitudinal, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Bulkhead is number 4. So I assume this is 1, 2, 3, 4 left to right, which would make sense. So we're going to get the compression test equipment. I'm going to pop you back on the tripod because it's in front of a French car, it's a French tripod. So you'll be able to see what I'm doing, and we'll take it from there. Right, we have our compression tester here. It's very washed out, probably because I've got a very bright light on. Don't turn the light off. Right, here we go. Oh, it's on rave out mode, hold on. Okay, we've got our compression tester here. What we were hoping to see from some research, very basic, I haven't checked the Renault owner's Renault service manual. We were expecting to see somewhere between, I think, 180 psi-ish, between 150 and 180. Anything sort of lower than that on a warm engine, I'd be slightly concerned. Obviously, on a diesel engine, we'll be looking at closer to sort of 300 or 400. does depend on the type of diesel engine, do consider. So I'm going to pop this on here. I'm going to turn the light back on so you can see what's going on. I'm going to place this so you can sort of see the needle. Okay, there is no way for me to put the camera and have you see it at the same time. So I'm going to do it upside down so you can see it upside down. Excuse me, I'm new at this, so please bear with me. Right, we're going to crank it over 5 times and then we're going to see what sort of pressure we get. Mmm, 90. Not the greatest. Let's do that again just to be sure. That button releases the pressure. Oh, a bit better that time, 120. Okay, right, we're going to swap to the next cylinder. Cylinder number 2. Trying to escape from me. We've got just under 100. Cylinder number 3. Number 3. That can't be right. Let's try that one again. Number 3. Thanks for flipping over, guy. Right, here we've got, I mean, I'm not convinced that's correct because we've got 35, 40, we've got 55 psi on number 3. If we had 55 psi on number 3, it would be running on 3 cylinders, and whilst it's lumpy at idle, it's not running on 3 cylinders. So I'm going to suspect that it's not sealing correctly in the head. But anyway, let's move on to number 4. As per the others, I'll do my best to record that one. But number 4. Also 70. Right, what I'm going to do is disconnect the fuel injectors just to make sure that's not washing the balls, and I'm going to add a teaspoon of oil to each cylinder and see if it increases the compression. Right, we've got about 30 millilitres of oil down at number 4 plug hole even. We're going to do that compression test again, see if we get any different results. Right, not really what I want to see. So after doing that second compression test on number 4, we've got 130. Right, so what that tells me is that the compression rings are worn out on the engine, and it's adding the oil has brought the compression up again, which means the oil is sealing against the sort of poorly sealing compression rings and bringing our compression up. So we're just going to do the same test again on all the others. Excuse my phone, it never stops. That one didn't make much of a difference. 70 psi. Ooh, 150. Let's just check that this third cylinder again just to make sure there isn't missed anything. Let's try that again, shall we? I'm going to hold it, this is easier for me. Right, we obviously didn't get enough oil in that plug before because we're at 120. Now, just for completion's sake, I'm going to do number 1, even though we had quite good numbers on number 1, but I suspect that's because of the amount of oil that has already leaked past the plug as I've removed it. That's already bolstering those compression readings. So we'll do it just to be, you know, complete. I'll do an on-screen graphic. You've got to excuse my shutter, I'm sorry, it's really gusty here. Okay, so it brought the compression up on that, 150. So, right. Hello people, right. I wasn't convinced about those compression readings that we had previously. So I had a quick look at the gauge and it looked like there was a little bit of leakage between one of the adapter pieces, which I haven't got in front of me, and the main body of the compression tester sort of hose pipe. So cleaned it all off, redid the test again. Consider that the engine has now cooled down slightly. Still doesn't look amazing, but they're far more consistent, which makes me think that the previous readings of 60 to 90 psi were wrong, because I don't think a petrol engine with high readings on one and low readings on another would have run as smoothly as this one does at higher RPM anyway. So to give you an idea of the readings, I'll put them up on the screen, but just quickly, number 1, 140 psi, number 2, 150 psi, number 3, 150 psi, number 4, 150 psi. After adding some oil to all of the cylinders, turning it over 2 or 3 times and running the test again with the same number of cranks, we have number 4, 165 psi, so that's up 15. Number 3, 160 psi, that's up 10. Number 2, 160 psi, that's up 10. And number 1, 160 psi, that's up 20. So I'm a little bit concerned with number 1, because that seems to be the lower, and it's made the biggest jump after adding oil, which probably means there is a ring problem there. The petrol, the oil looks really manky inside there, looks black. Obviously colour isn't always an indication, but the smell of it is also telling me that it's probably lost its lubricity. I think with an oil treatment and a couple of services at short intervals, the compression should come back after driving it hard as well. Interested to see what you think. It's a bit of a crossroads. I have to decide whether to continue forging on and rebuilding the engine, or continue on and don't rebuild the engine but do all the service bits. It does mean that potentially the engine's going to come back out again. I've got to say, taking that inlet manifold off was quite nice and easy. If the rest of the car is like that compared to a Mercedes, then there's going to be a major problem if we have to do that. But anyway, let me know what you think. Right, I have removed the carpet, which is the only real way to dry it. Look, this has had a dehumidifier running, and we can see some standing water. You can clearly see now that the carpet's been out where the water's been running down. And we figured out in another video earlier on, I may not have posted that actually, that there was a subwoofer power cable shoved through the heater box grommet. So we've removed that clearly, but we need to get the water out of the car and get it dry, so the only real way to do that is to take the foam out. It wasn't a bad job, and you get to find all of this free money. Thank you for the money. Oops. The car now owes me 26p less. Oh, another 5p. Nice. Anyway, so it's all out. It's all drying. Now I have to figure out the best way of drying these pieces of foam and the carpet. Now, I don't know if I can get away with sneaking these home and shoving them near a radiator. Maybe the wife will get upset. Let's see what happens. The other thing, which I didn't touch upon, which I've just realised as well, it is only running on 3.5 cylinders. This cylinder number 1 isn't really contributing at idle. Best way of testing this is to touch the downpipe very briefly, or use a thermometer, etc., which is a safer way of doing it, I suppose. and compare them. Number one, downpipe, much colder than the remainder. I popped the inlet manifold off and had a look. The injectors are all spraying, but this runner has a much dirtier inlet tract further down, so I don't think this injector is running properly at all. I've checked it electrically, it's got power, and the ECU is turning it on and off, and resistance wise it's got a good resistance value, so I can only assume it's blocked. You can't really get a good visual representation of flow just looking at the sprays at idle, but I'm not going to waste time taking the rail out, swapping the injectors across. I'm just going to put a set of injectors in it because I know it's not running particularly well on that one. These probably aren't far behind. As a diagnostic method, that's a valid way to do it. Put that injector there, see if that cylinder starts running instead of there. I've sanity checked all the spark, etc. It's got it's good strong sparks. It's not that. The only thing to consider is that the compression value that we've got on this cylinder will be lower because it's not getting as hot. So that's sort of slightly lower in a compression value on number one will come up slightly. So really, I'm not too concerned about the compression numbers. So I think we're going to crack on and just make it work, I suppose. We have some nice shiny wheels. Look at them. Oh. Shiny. They do, however, say for competition use only on the tyres, so new tyres are going to go on that, unless I can check the legalities of driving with them on the road. Obviously nothing inclement weather like we've got currently. So yes, please wait about for the next exciting instalment of What Else Is There in the Clio. Oh, actually, before I go, I found a few bits and bobs in the Clio. So this is what I found. We have all of the money. We have a packet of salt. Previous owner liked salt. Chapstick lid. So they've obviously got chap lips. Don't know what to think about that. And then I found this. It's a small pin that says regiment. It's got regiment sort of shield on it. I may do some research into that, but take that what you will. But yes, so nothing else of any interest really in there, but we're cracking on, we're moving forward. Hopefully it'll be running sometime 2024. Thank you for watching. As always, whilst I'm recording the video, I forget to say please like and subscribe. But do please like and subscribe. If you like and subscribe, it will motivate me to record more content, and I like doing that. Additionally, if you've got any comments, please do post them in there. Any questions, I do try and read through them all. Any guidance on what I'm doing wrong and or right would be much appreciated.